Goodness. 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 I have turned everything up this week. I hope it's not appalling. I can see that we already seem to have a peak close to 0 dB and we haven't played any music. So I will be listening very closely to the output of this stream once it's finished. And yeah, I apologise deeply if it clips or if it is too loud. Please do let me know. Anyway, what are we going to have a look at today? Well, the time has come. I've been saying it would happen for a while, and here it is now. Yes, lovely. What a good view of the album cover there. Much better than your average one from the other place. Yeah, let's just slightly change how big this window is if we can. Maybe we can't. Oh yeah, no, that should work. Make it a little bit bigger. Maybe move it up just a tiny bit. Yeah, there we go. And then even I can make myself bigger. Oh. Okay, Only Dust Remains by Backxwash. Now the thing about Backxwash is Backxwash is a really powerful experimental hip-hop artist. Previous albums are also incredible. I don't know how easy it'll be to see these, and I'm messing with ratios. But His Happiness Shall Come First Even Though We Are Suffering is great. Lots of very interesting things, very aggressive things. You know, this is the thing with most of these previous albums. I haven't listened to Rosemary's Revenge or Stigmata. And there's Deviancy isn't here for some reason, but there's also Deviancy. Deviancy and I Lie Here Buried With My Rings and My Dresses are crazy also. Now, I don't know if I've listened to God Has Nothing to Do With This, leave him out of it, this one here, because I remember it was removed from Spotify at some point, and yeah, I just can't remember if I've got round to it. But this last one, His Happiness Shall Come First Even Though We Are Suffering, I was excited and thrilled by. It has some unusual time signatures, which for hip-hop is a real rarity. And just like horror influences all through. Some, I think there's a guest appearance from the Pupil Slicer vocalist, if I remember correctly. Anyway, very exciting, viscerally pumping, powerful stuff pumping. But I've heard interesting things about this next one being a little bit of a move away from that harder side of things. So we will see if Backxwash can follow up in an interesting way. There will no doubt be lots to talk about anyway. Okay, so our first track is Black Lazarus. Here we go. Okay, an interesting sample to start with. Also, note how there's no build up. It's just straight in with this particular sound. Quite an unusual sound, isn't it? It's a voice, well, a voice sample that has been, you know, cut. It's also, well, I don't know. I from that amount of noise, I can't tell where specifically this sample might have been taken from, what kind of music, what kind of region of the world. But it doesn't sound like your average pop thing, does it? It sounds like a folk music of some description. Let's hear it again. Now, we've got some interesting things already. Now, that melody is basically around C here. And then that low note sort of seems to go down to that F sharp. It might be just a low G. I'll hear it one more time. Yay, yay. Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle. Something like that. That's interesting. Yeah, the C and the D, very comfortable, very comfortable. And then the G, if it was a nice clear G, would be really comfortable. But because it's that little bit lower, it has this, ooh, I don't know, a little bit eerie feel to it. The percussion in the background, we've got basically threes happening most of the time, but not all the time. If we try and count in threes, let's see how it goes. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Did that work? Actually, that might have worked. There's a little bit of a strange glitch towards the end which seems to make it work. Let's hear it again. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 Yeah, it does work. It does work, but that's not the feeling. The feeling isn't in threes like that. The feeling is we're going a little bit in threes and a little bit in twos. Let's try and work it out. So most of that works really nicely in threes. And then it's about after that where it feels like a 4. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2. Maybe not actually. Yeah, because that yay, that sort of changes it from when we have the weight on the first beat of the 3, and then we have it sort of just after yay, so on the second beat maybe, and then that's where it feels like it's going into twos to me. Okay, but not fully. It just feels like a reversal of the or not a reversal, but a sort of phasing of the drums which are underneath. Let's try it again. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I know. It's maybe just one thing of 2 there for the yai, and then we're into threes again. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1. Yeah, and then that's like, it's like it wanted to do another 3, but then there's just an extra beat inserted. So really it feels like what? So that's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. I haven't actually counted how many, and it's confusing me now. Let's try that. 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 3 4. No, not 4. Okay, so it was 4, wasn't it? No. Let's try it again. Confusing myself. Yeah. Okay, yes. Does that make sense? I think so. So we've got 4 threes to start with. Then we've got a 2. Okay, 4 threes and a 2. Lovely. That's fine. And then 2 threes and a 4, I think. So hopefully this should add up to a number divisible by 3 anyway. 3 threes is 12, plus 2 is 14, plus 3 and then 3, which is 6, is 20, plus 4 is 24, so that should actually work out. 24, well that's interesting, that's 3 eighths. So we could think of this in 4, but just 3, let's just try that just as an experiment. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. It really makes that last bar pretty strange, doesn't it? Let's do it now in half speed counts. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. That actually fits quite nicely. you do get a sort of parallax as the I don't know if parallax is the right word, but as the thing comes in and out of focus, as the rhythm comes in and out of syncopation. That's really fun. Anyway, that was a lot of talk about the first 7 seconds of this piece of music. Yeah, we're sort of rooted around C, but in a folky kind of way, where probably we will not get too much deviation from that tonal center or even harmonic interest. Let's see. We've also got quite a big echo. Sorry, quite a big echo. But it's a little bit of an odd echo. It doesn't feel like it's fully connected to that vocal. It is the vocals echoing, but they feel sort of delayed, quite tinny, and that it's just sort of like echoing around the pan rather than being in the middle like the vocals are.
I've been away from a place of balance, from the licks that carried my mistakes and challenge. And it's safe to say I advocate the balance, and I'm not sure where to place the smile inside my own.
Yeah, so really what's being felt there as the rhythm is that longer beat. So not the ba da 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 da, but the nexus is that longer beat. Ba da 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 da. We've brought in a bass, and we've also brought in Backxwash herself, or itself. I've got the pronouns up on the right, behind, next to the picture, and yeah, it says she, it, she/it, which is quite fun. Anyway, here we come again.
I've been away from a place of balance, from the licks that carried my mistakes and challenge. And it's safe to say I advocate the balance, and I'm not sure where to place the smile inside my own.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so it is that longer beat, but it's actually split it up into 6 beats. So we get the yeah, so how many would be that? That would be yes, so it would be the da 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 da. That's one bit, and then the da da. That would be the second bit. So it split those up into sort of 2 different sections. Nothing particularly taxing or crazy going on with the flow of the words here, but yeah, let's keep going. The bass has mainly been doing those 2 notes, the C and the F sharp. Let's go back a bit. There's the C, there's the F sharp. So we're repeating those mostly. Okay. So there we get a sort of change to a different section. It's still between those 2, and I'm still just a little bit uncertain about whether that is meant to be a G or not. But it doesn't feel like a G to me. But then we get F for 6 and G for 6. And over that we've got a different vocal sample being played. Let's hear it again. There's also some other sort of talked vocals in the periphery, which are a little harder to hear. But yeah, this vocal is going up a lot higher. We were around here, weren't we? And now this one's up here. Much softer, sweeter kind of sound. Really just those 2 notes, similar to those 2 notes being the main thing of the first one. It's interesting how that vocal sort of blooms, isn't it? We get that, and then as it gets louder, suddenly cuts off. Then we get the echo of that really clarified in the track.
For them to even see the meaning, I've been leaving since I said that I was leaving. Brother would have found me slumped out on the wrong couch in the dark.
Okay, there's a violin type instrument now, doing kind of the same notes as everything else. It feels like we've had a verse, and then like a pre-chorus, or maybe the second part of the verse. It doesn't feel like we've come to a chorus right now. But maybe this is our chorus section.
On the wrong couch in the dark house, with my bloody body and my lungs drowned, with my twisted fingers.
Okay, without that vocal sample, now the bass really does feel like it's going to G instead. Okay, which is interesting because I could have sworn in the previous section it felt much more like F sharp. Let's hear it one more time.
You got demons, how? Like, it's so clear what the
Okay, no, before that.
And marks that carried my mistakes and challenge, and it's safe to say I advocate the palace, and I'm not sure what to put the solace of my own.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like that rather than that. How does it sound to you?
Even where the drugs smell, but I'm in euphoria like I'm up now. If he fucking up, pray for me, but ain't no.
I think I might have missed out a bit there. Let's go back and give it its due. So this is our second verse, if you like, and we've got that violin kind of sample. It's doing something like that. So it's replaced the vocal sample pretty much, although I think there are still little bits trying to get through. We might have got slightly more percussion as well, maybe some hand claps in there that weren't there before, and the bass is still there. Oh wait, it's not replaced the other vocal. It was right there. Silly me. Okay, this is our second section again, and this has added a flute in there, up in an octave no one else is in, doing similar notes to that second vocal sample.
Nobody here saving me. I'm the only death I fear is painlessly, and I made it out of clear agency. If he pray for me, the only way to leave is dangerously, 'cause for every.
Yeah, it's interesting how this works. The bass is actually giving us some real grounding to do with chords. Okay, the bass is moving and it's giving us chords. It's not giving us a riff or something that's like ambiguous about where the movement is. Something like that. Something like that. It's not quite clear whether that's actually going and moving bass note. Here it's giving us long held bass notes which are clearly moving the chord, but that's the only thing that's moving. The vocals are pretty much constant on the same pitch. The rap is on the same pitch, which is about that C actually. The violin is about there. The second vocal line is about there. The first vocal line is doing that, and the flute is doing mostly those as well. None of them are changing as these bass notes change, which mean we get like a static harmony that nonetheless feels like it's evolving because the bass line is moving.
Second chance, they just wave their hands, they must make the dance. I just feel like I'm automatic.
Okay. Nice. So as we get to this section, we've got a drum kit coming in and giving us a much more realized 6, right? Or well, arguably a slow 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, or 6/8, I suppose is how it feels really. Kick drum, snare. Okay, and that is, classic, isn't it? Kick drum on the first main beat, snare on the second main beat. 1, 2, and really relaxing into that slower pace. Okay, and the violin, should it be a violin, is doing this kind of thing feels like double stopping, so it's doing two different notes at the same time. It might be two violins, maybe. It's probably two violins. Yeah, no, I can hear one doing that still, and then the other. Well, maybe there's two notes there held, and then just one note after that, which is interesting. This feels like we're building, doesn't it? The vocals have got higher. We're sort of around F now. Yeah, I'm making a feature out of that. Buddy, buddy, buddy. That sort of break on that last one. We get it the same way the next time. Reminds me of And My Mum Is Mary Poppins. What else is happening here? We've got a hi-hat come in, haven't we? Yeah, and those extra vocals just whispering. They're not very clear, but they add texture in a really strange, slightly uncomfortable way. As it's all building up, we're still getting these pockets of clarity for, well, something to be there. Not a clear thing. Ooh, yeah, feeling strange. Okay, totally different section now. Well, totally different. It's still got the slow six going through it. 1 and 2. But we've sort of landed on a C minor. Now we've been around C minor. We've had that E flat in there since the violin came in. We've had boom, 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 boom from the bass. That's fine. But now we've hit a real solid C minor, and it's C minor, and you can tell because we've got a chordal chorus of voices in there now, giving us a high C there and everything underneath as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously chorus vocals mean a great deal. Connection to God is often the connection that a chorus will give you. And it's also a very different sound to what the violins, the flutes, the vocal samples from some kind of folk music. These are a really different sound world to this chorus vocal, and they're even a different sound world to the drums and the bass, which are more connected to pop music, aren't they? Really. So we're getting different sound worlds colliding, taking over from each other, and making something with some appeal to everyone, no doubt. And it's really nice because we are still getting that bass movement to the G, but we're holding that chord, so the G is just a G on the bottom of a C chord, rather than something like that, which would really be a big harmonic shift. We've not had anything like that in this track, really. So why break that? It really fits with keeping this solid static harmony position. Up in the bed with a poker face, and I cannot feel my tongue from the confrontation. Said when I hit the drums from the lower place, say goodnight to my lovers or go away. They keep hyping me up in the... Yeah, even when we're going to the F there. We get that C chord over the top. So we get this kind of feel like this, but I don't think we get the A flat in there, so it doesn't really feel like an F minor, like an extended F minor. It feels like that C minor, but we've got an F in the bass. Yeah, just a little bit unsettling.
second chance. I just wet my hands. Devils make
So I haven't been talking much about the float here, but we just went from focusing on threes, oh well, threes and then twos. Now we're into one that's more focused on twos again.
hands. I just wet my hands.
Ba da 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 da.
Why the fuck am I complaining here when there's kids in Gaza with the missing father? The bongos and congos don't hit us hard. South Sudan is a plan and don't get me started. And for everything fucked.
So now that all the instruments are in, it doesn't feel like there's much movement between bass notes, really. The bass note is the only thing that is really changing between these different bars, but that's not causing as much movement to the whole sound as it was before. Now that everything is in, it's just this thick wall keeping us going, and that means that there's only a really subtle change between those bass note changes, adding a subtle movement to the ensemble, leading it not to feel like it's really what's the word, like making a big shift every time, but keeping on this like water flowing along, but with occasional ripples or waves to slightly change the consistency of the wave as a whole.
That we picked apart. I just fall to my knees with the disregard as they pray for me. But
There though, we got piano clearly getting through. Let's just check we didn't get piano through before.
the fuck that we picked apart. I just fall to my knees with the disregard as they
No, I think it just comes in straight there, and it gives us much clearer sort of F minor kind of feel, because we've not got that chorus going. It does feel like we've got an A flat in there somewhere. Let me try and pick it out.
my knees with the disregard as they pray for me. But ain't nobody here.
I'm not sure. I can hear the G up in the flute, so that might just be close enough to give me a proximity warning for it.
To my knees with the disregard as they pray for me. But ain't nobody here saving me. And the only death I fear is pain.
It was nice though, letting that piano through. Pray for me. Yeah, adds. It's a really clever way to add in a new instrument suddenly. Yeah, when you've got a thick texture, you can add an instrument like that and it'll go unnoticed. But because the vocals stop, which is something that they almost never do, it really makes a big impact when this stop happens and another instrument comes in. It's clever. The piano I don't think sounds great, because it sounds quite tinny in comparison to a lot of the more acoustic sounding instruments here, but there we are.
Disregard as they pray for me. But ain't nobody here saving me. And the only death.
Sorry. Oh, why does it look like that? That's not how we want it to look. Sorry, just check the stream. Sorry, I just had a individual come in and had to beckon them away, which is a shame. Anyway, there we are. That's that section. What have we got? What have we got? The choir is giving more now, isn't it? Let's hear that again. Yeah, they're moving. They're not just on here now. It felt like we got a G minor chord there. So maybe they're the ones giving that A flat in there. Something like that as an extra movement in the background. Filling out the space.
Pray for me. The only way to live is dangerously. 'Cause for
Oh, as well. Oh, something like that. Something like that. Yeah. Cool. Making a bigger sound, more complicated sound. So we are actually adding harmonic variation in this last leg of the song. Well, Still got a minute and a half left, so maybe it's not the last leg of the song.
Every second chance, devils with their hands and just make the dance. I just feel like a spark.
Wow. Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know. It does say lyrics. Let's go and check lyrics. Oh, nice. Amazing. I just feel like, okay, yeah. I just feel like it's... Great. Okay. We could have those up, I suppose. But I'm in the way, aren't I? Alright, let's make me smaller. I guess I can go over here. I don't know. Is that worth it? No. I get distracted by lyrics. We're not going to have lyrics. There we go. Much better. Alright. Yeah, so it feels like that is a end point and a new start point, doesn't it? Now, we've gone back to C minor, and it's clear that that's where we are, but the ensemble that we had before, while they may still be there to some degree, they are getting overtaken by synths. We didn't expect it, but there it is. Yeah. So really the main things that carry on there are the bass and the drums. We're going to much more of an electronic band texture rather than the multi-disciplinary texture that we had before. We've got the bass doing actually more than it's done before. It's not just holding these bass notes now. It's going something like something like that. While the synths holding C minor 7 really, and then we get that A flat when we go to the F, which is quite powerful. Something like that.
Nobody pray for me. Nobody pray for me. Nobody save me. Nobody save me.
Nice. Single vocal says a thing. Group vocals say a thing. The same thing. It's powerful. It's a good way of doing things. It encourages audience participation.
Nobody pray for me. Nobody pray for me. Nobody save me. Nobody save
me. Yeah, so the evading, at least so far, using that harmonic third on the G, which would make it that classical feeling. We're instead getting like a sort of mix on that G chord of C minor notes and G minor notes. We're not getting a clear G minor chord even. Yeah, it's fun. It's sort of painful in a very sort of melancholy way. So there are violin type instruments. We're getting a little bit clearer sound on them now, that with some distortion. Maybe that distortion was there the whole time, but because we've got a clearer texture, we can hear them more clearly, and it is something like these two notes held while there's in one, followed by just a G. Something like that. It's nice. And then the bass has come back, hasn't it? Just to give us... Okay. So there we got that that bit of piano. And the bass didn't really carry on. Got it again. Yeah, the piano's doing something like that with I think an extra D in there. Maybe the D's coming from the other instrument. Let's hear one more time. It might well be. Okay, and there's the from the second vocal sample with that big choir swell. Powerful. A little bit of a jittery echo on the out. But that's a really interesting way to do an outro. It's basically like a collage of things that have been put in the larger collage. We've had everything put in the track, and now we're just showing different elements of that with a gradual fade to the whole thing. But different elements that have been in the piece so far, we're putting them together in different arrangements, just to wind down and make things a little bit, less intense, because we had a lot of intensity in that track. It's nice to wind down in that kind of way. Yeah, very interesting idea. Okay, cool. Now we've got a 7-minute song with a video, but we're not going to watch the video. We are going to listen to Wake Up. Oh, it's really insisting that we watch the video. Should we watch the video? I feel like it's more copyright infringement if we watch the video, because I'm not going to be commenting on the video, whereas I am going to be commenting on the words. So I'm not going to watch the video. I'm just going to, I don't know, rearrange this window so we get the nice album cover. Is that better? It's not great. Whatever. We'll keep going with that. Okay. So again, we've got weird threes. Wake up, da 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 da. Wake. What's that there? And yeah, we're getting a G minor tonality generally, but with a little bit of chromatic weirdness. Wake! And then that's up. Wake! But it's not quite threes. Yeah. So it's like 4 threes and then a 4 maybe? 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. Okay, and then a drum fill and then some synths. Unexpected. Sounds good though. Okay, and it rejigs our understanding of where that sample is sitting. It's not on the 1, it's not ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but it's actually after that, and we're in D major, so it's so it's on the E after 1. Oh yeah, got some good harmony as well. Yeah, it's basically that. And that, I think. So we're getting a really big D major chord. And an E flat diminished chord to go with that. They've actually got notes in common. I guess we could call this a D sharp diminished chord, and then we've got an F sharp, and we've got an A. Not very far from each other in a way that I have never really thought about, but it's a fun collection anyway, and quite unusual. Yeah, the snare is giving us the 3rd beat of each bar and some other occasional things. We've got semiquavers in the hi-hat, and we've got some fun kick drum stuff. Also, the drums on both these tracks have sounded really roomy and big, without the sort of clarity of an electronic drum kit that you might get in your standard hip hop track. So that's fun. Yeah, definitely has quite a nice feel to it. It's good stuff. It would definitely wake you up, wouldn't it? Yeah. I can probably turn up the track actually, can't I? Let's turn it up just a little bit. Okay, so we had that a few times, and now we're into, what, the verse? This now feels more soft, more jazzy, because the piano's come in. The drums are still crashing out like crazy, but the synths have disappeared. They're much less in your face, this piano, giving us a D major 7 chord. Ooh. And then it feels like an E flat major 7 that then sort of devolves into something else. I haven't quite worked out what that is, but it doesn't sound like the diminished chord anymore. Yeah, so we almost get there, but we don't get that F sharp in there, so we get that instead, which you could see as a half diminished chord, couldn't you? Yeah, so you could see it as an A half diminished chord, and that would give it sort of dominant agency, I guess, to take us back to the D. It's quite a nice idea, yeah. And the E flat is in the bass, dragging us back to the D. This is a really interesting harmony, the likes of which, yeah, you would very rarely see in hip hop very much. So we maybe are breaking down some boundaries there. How long it been since I fed my boss in the shit? How many months it says? How many more will bring? Don't have my body, probably gonna set me off in the wind. I play this. Yeah, so as well as the hi-hat on the semiquavers, we've actually got other cymbals being played in the background too, but they're not glistening like cymbals often do. There's none of that really high frequency noise coming through, at least not on my headphones. No, yeah, they sound more boxy, so they're not coming through in the clear way that they might. So the piano is evolving. It's getting higher. It's getting more moving, and that's very exciting. And the voice is getting higher too. We've had a bit of call and response again, asking a question from those group vocals. And it leads us into the next section without changing the ensemble. Yeah, and the voice is higher here. It's around this this A, ha, which is yeah, it's quite high. It sounds quite pained and insistent, in a way that the lower, well, let's call it rapping. It's not singing, I suppose, is it? But the lower part, it doesn't quite sound so insistent. But this is, yeah, really both pained and insistent and upset. Okay, it's coming down now. Nice scream going from left to right there. Up a little bit higher as well. So yeah, nice clarity to it. It sounds like we're going to a chorus or something. And the synths are back. And we've got blah 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 being echoing on every single beat. Yeah. So a certain amount of like dance influence to the ensemble at least, or the use of the synths and the production maybe. Yeah. I'm certain that I'm proving myself not to have woken the fuck up by looking at the music here. It really feels like it's not the main issue. So I apologise for that. But it's all I'm good for, really. We are getting, yeah, that D major 7 note, that C sharp there, we are getting that in this synth section as well. And that's fun, yeah, because we get this chromatic line when we get to that diminished chord. That's lovely. Okay, so in this section, wow. Oh, I've just seen this. These are the songs of a person who was brought back to life but is now haunted by death itself. Oh dear. That's no good. This section that we've just got to has reversed the chords being used. We're now getting E flat first, followed by D after that. And the harmonic rate has gone up, so we're getting them really one every bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, change, 2, 3, 4, change, 2, 3. You get the idea? Again, vocals are up again, yeah, in that insistent, aggressive place. We've got that blam, 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 blam kind of thing. It's been filtered and changed a little bit, but it's still going on. Still got those drums pumping. But yeah, again, they're in the background, aren't they, really? There's so much frenetic energy there, but it's just hidden behind this wall. Whereas the vocals are really, really clear, and the piano is pretty clear as well. Okay, this section, we're going even higher, really, and the vocals are really, really pushing. Yeah, and the rhythm doesn't seem quite as important to the vocals right now either. Okay, we've got a different harmony going on here with some chorus vocals. It's this kind of thing. So this is more of the classical kind of world. So we've got that D minor now. We've had a D major all the way up to here, and now it's clearly D minor. It's quite a subtle change because it's nothing to do with the vocals. The vocals aren't giving us that harmony. It's everything in the background. And this doesn't even feel like, it's not the chorus. We know what the chorus is. So this is a mid-verse, almost a beat switch, except the drums are keeping on going. It's just the tonality has changed from D major to D minor. Now, it was always a bit of a shaky D major because we had the E flat above it. That would give us like a Phrygian sharp third feeling, that classic Spanish kind of thing. Now we're more in harmonic minor. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, but everything's moving at sort of different times. So we get something like that. So we get this held dissonance of this minor major 7 chord, which finally eventually goes to the A7 chord. It's scary, and I think it's meant to be horror influenced, isn't it? And those vocals, they're not doing the same thing that they did in the previous track. They are holding long notes and then changing them, and they're giving fright. They're not giving sort of praise or happiness.
Cause with the way it's going, I just think the obvious, so don't hate me for it. I just hope I'll never be famous for it. Way of
The snare has a little bit of a different mix on it now. It's got an extra reverb tail. Let's hear that again.
I just hope I'll never be famous for it. Way of the bravest song. Blade is waiting for me, I said him.
It's actually not always on the snare, so it might not have been the snare, but it might just have been a particular snare hit was put on a different track and given that. Anyway, sounds like we are just about to change everything up. Yeah, just for a moment there, we got a nice. Was it a D minor? I think it was. Yeah, we got a D minor chord, a little bit of a shimmer from the Hammond organ, and then, as that seems to continue, cut off straight away and back to D major.
Maybe it's disingenuous, so maybe it's the fact that I'm.
The voice is lower, almost an octave. In fact, basically an octave lower. Rather than okay, and therefore less insistent sounding, right? More calm, more introspective sounding. As well as that, yeah, we've just got the piano. The piano and the vocals is all that's going on at the moment, I think.
I'm starting to realize that I don't love myself. I'm spending all night attempting not to judge myself. And if given another body, would have hung myself.
There's a kind of vocal sample as well. But yeah, we've got that D major and E flat feeling. And the piano is being played in a really lyrical way, which means that we don't just have one chord at one particular time. We've got a lot of movement in the different lines on the piano, which is lovely.
I'm on the last rope, start to think that I had hope. Got my knees in the back.
Okay, we've got the the hi-hat coming in on the quavers now. We're not getting semi-quavers, we're just getting so that's nice. And yeah. Okay, it's just disappeared because there's a big noise coming in on the right. Listen to that. Yeah, it's a good build-up. It's a good build-up, but that's a nasty noise. It even comes in on the left speaker just towards the end. And then we're back into the chorus. Is the chorus going to be the same as before? Well, not really. We haven't got as many shouts, or if we have, they're sort of buried in the acoustic. But we've got a guitar, an electric guitar. Giving us like in octaves, that kind of thing. Yeah, cool. That's a real sort of melody. I guess the first thing we can call true melody. We had some bits of piano earlier that have melodic ideas to them, but they're so in the background, whereas this is really the foreground material here, which is cool. It's a new idea 3.5 minutes into the song. I mean, that's only halfway, but it's a cool thing to just add in. I wonder if it's just going to be in this section or whether we're going to get it interpolated into the other sections too. Let's see. It almost feels like a guitar solo. Yeah, there we get that one. While the rest of the world is on the E flat. Yeah, and now we get the shout again. The bass is doing crazy things there. It's going in between. I haven't heard much bass actually so far, but it's definitely here now. Doing alternating between E flats and C's and D's and C's. So really not giving us a stable base to build on. And the drums have sort of disappeared, but we've still got a kind of sounds like an artillery shell or something. It could be like a really tight snare. I don't know what those are called actually, but yeah, it could be like a really, really small snare kind of sound. That could, of course, also just be how it's mixed. But we're getting really like a wall of sound here. The rhythm is not very strong. We do have that keeping rhythm, but it's not clear so much where 1 and where, 2, 3, and 4 are. We'll start this section again so we can really feel that. Okay. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a bulge on the beginning of the bar, but other than that, things are just swimming in soup. It feels very sort of asleep, doesn't it? It feels very like it's a dream. It's not sort of what's the word? It's not going, oh yeah, here is here is all the clear things. Clearly you have a lot of consciousness going on right now. It's doing exactly the opposite of that, is saying, no, we are asleep. We are experiencing lots of things sort of superimposed. A quantum sludge of dreaming, something like that. Yeah, and those fills breaking through, and the wake the fuck up also breaking through. I'm such a child. We're sort of relaxing back into more of a comfortable D now. And the synths are there as well, just whirring. They don't have the full body of their sound, yeah, it's just a little bit there, giving us still E flat and D. All right, and the drums are really carrying the whole thing here, aren't they? They're back in full force and really, doing some crazy stuff. Okay. So do you think we woke up after that, or do you think this next 3 minutes is going to be dreamscape? I don't actually know. We've got a very fizzy kind of sound. Oh, everything's... What? That is not what we were expecting. Let's hear that change again. Okay, so we're going back to the kind of gospel connection now. This might be a previously composed song, I suppose. It might be an interpolation in here. Is it that? Yeah. So we've got a C minor, C minor 7, G minor 7. Totally different to where we were though. We were D major, E flat. And then we just shift to the next thing. So this is a real beat switch now. Feels pitch shifted up, doesn't it? I doubt this is the original pitch. Everything sounds quite sort of tinny and bright and nasal.
It's been about a few days since.
And the beat is so much more calm, isn't it? This is a classic, one of those soul sample kind of things. I can't remember who it was. Someone was complaining about soul samples and it made everyone very upset. They're a kind of mainstay of hip hop, I think. I can't think of any that are in. Uh, I'm not a hugely familiar. I'm not hugely familiar with early hip hop, um, but I'm wondering when soul samples started being like regularly used. And the ones I can think of are sort of 90s, 2000s. I can't think of any 80s tracks. But if you know any 80s tracks that have classic soul samples in, do let me know. But maybe this has just been a trend that, that doesn't date back the whole way. But, I sort of think it must. Because, like, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On came out in 1971. Hip hop was more or less starting around then, but the sampling came in towards the end of the late 70s. The not sampling, but using decks and using originally recorded vinyl into a new track came around then. I think there can't be much before the late 70s, and so that's where I would expect it to come in with like Grandmaster Flash. So maybe not, but anyway, if anyone has any more information, do let me know. Yeah, cool. Anyway, it's a very classic kind of sound. It has that tweaked bright shininess that is more of a contemporary thing, I think.
I left this bed. Almost feels like I'm left for dead. Or maybe dead instead. I rest away cause I don't see any options. I can see that I'm conscious.
Okay, and we did get the harmonic thing there. Maybe the bit. No, I don't think so. But maybe the bit that we got earlier with that alternative harmony was a version of this. I don't think so, though. That would be pretty crazy. They'd pitch it up. They'd also... it really bears very little resemblance other than we start with a minor chord, so I don't think so.
But I just feel like I'm rotten and the Lord forsaken, the Lord for places. I'm dealing with loss of days, the ceiling is...
Yeah, playing the texture even here, like now it's just that higher voice which is carrying on here.
My gaze as I run away, I might do it but not today, see. There's a game coming out that I really wanna fucking play, so I'll just...
Yeah, it's a nice set as well because we get that. So it's using all our sort of primary minor chords and landing on the C. We spend twice as much time on the C as anything else. We only spend a tiny amount of time on the F. Yeah, feels like a really classic progression.
Wither and soak, maybe a glimmer of hope, or slip me a note. I'm thinking it one, cause for...
Again, the piano is giving us a little more class and doing more inventive things, even, while it's playing basically a background role. That's fun. And we've got a little bit of organ in here too as well.
Now, I'll just give you the rope, and I'll see if it holds. I eat a lot, and I'm bigger than most. Can shake the feeling I'm gross. Can't find me appealing at all. I know my loved ones need me to be strong, but this atrophy's fucking up my knees and my bones. So how do I keep going on? Has anybody got advice right before I sign the lease on my soul?
Feels like there's a little bit of noise just creeping in, just crackly. Maybe that was here the whole time, to be honest. That would be appropriate for this oldie vinyl kind of sounding track. So maybe that's there deliberately for that, but maybe it is also building up.
It's a battle for the weak and the strong. I really couldn't give a fuck less. I just need to be home. Right to the mark of the beast. It shows his fangs as it sharpens his teeth. Yeah, my armor's only gold-plated, feeling like I'm clothed naked, and I know it won't save me if it targets my cheek. So
for me, Backwash's voice is very intense, always on to some degree. We've talked about the different pitches, and carries with it a huge amount of weight. And therefore, I sort of, in terms of just aesthetic listening experience, I am waiting for those pauses for a let up from that sound, which seems harsh. It's not as if it's not without merit, but it is a pain to listen to because there's so much pain enveloped in the voice, so much hurt and experience there. It's a very heavy sounding voice. There's a lot of sort of throaty sound to it, probably from a lot of shouting or a lot of screaming or a lot of crying, a lot of pain. So it also is in stark contrast to the sweet sereneness of the rest of the track at the moment. So we're getting these really two polar opposites stuck together, making each other unhappy.
Black as skies, I will not go gentle. Take it all safety, I put it on my tempo. Put the black as skies, I will not go gentle. I will not go gentle.
I think that's a reference to Do Not Go Gentle into the whatever, isn't it? I don't know that poem though. Why not? Let's look it up. I'm gonna, just in case. Oh no, actually that might be fine. Is that gonna be fine? Well, you can see random news that I get. There we are. Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night is a poem in the form of a villanelle by Welsh poet Dylan Thomas. Oh, interesting. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light, though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning. They do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, good. I mean, basic, what do you call it, like a exhortation to take the most out of life. Don't just let death creep up on you, I suppose, and get angry when it is. Fair enough, man. Okay. So, this is similar to what happened in the previous track at the end, isn't it? I suppose we've got a sort of duet between the piano and the violins. The violins might have come in just before the end on this track. They weren't in most of it though, and I feel like this ending is not quite as effective as the other one. Oh, well, this is very different, isn't it? We've got a sudden synth, like a sort of watery sounding synth. Very different to this fizzy sounding synths we've had, like the Sawtooth Wave synth. This is much more Much more sine wavy, isn't it? What is it doing? Why can I not find those notes? It's doing that while nothing else is really moving very much. It's very fast. Doing semiquavers, and doing it in its own rhythm. Yeah, an interesting choice. We've still got that crackly vinyl noise going on, and the bass as well. And that just let's go. Yeah, a little bit of a uncomfortable bump at the end from those violins. Can you hear that? Unnecessary. The violins don't sound very good. I think they're probably a patch, a software instrument. And maybe the piano is as well, but the piano does sound a bit better. And frankly, piano sample patches, what do you call them, libraries, do sound better in general than most instruments, I guess because they're more in demand. But also maybe there's just a simpler sound to work out for a computer. Okay. So we're back with our folk instrumentation. Maybe it's just a sample, but back with no video as well, which I prefer. Dum 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 da 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 da. That's a simple enough scale. It's the minor pentatonic, and we're getting that top note. Dum 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 da da ba ba da ba da ba dum dum dum. That works in 4, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 bars of 4, and we've got some more Phrygian harmony sounding like it's happening in the piano. Again on E flat and D. Well, it's actually it does sound weirdly like it is Phrygian, but we're not getting too much of the D right now. It's just, I guess, that the melody is on D. The melody feels like it's, because it's a whole scale basically. It feels like it's giving our root better than the actual harmony is. That's interesting, because that E flat is really constant. We don't get down to what we would think of as our 1 chord, but we do have that in the melody, which also, yeah, is it a sitar? It sounds quite like a sitar in the right headphone. Yeah, maybe some tabla as well. So maybe actually rude to call it folk based, in fact, because really that's a classical tradition all of its own. Still same. Yeah, and the tabla are going crazy in the left. Tabla are really fun, and there's a huge amount of improvisation in Indian music. So it's great. Really, really fills you with life.
I've been meaning to say this with non-remedial statements.
Actually, though, are the tabla just doing the same thing repeated? Yeah, because it's a sample. It's a sample, I guess. So they're going bum 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 bum, which is a shame. Anyway, moving on. We've also got a hi-hat in the background, keeping sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I've been meaning to say this with non-remedial statements. Gotta breathe when I say this. Part of me, but I'm anxious. Part of me is so thankful, but parts of me should be angered. Cause parts of me should be tamed with parts of me in a stranger. Look, I appreciate.
Yeah, so as it's going on, it feels less like the D minor Phrygian feeling and more like the E flat Lydian feeling. Which has this more hopeful, bright feeling to it, and I think that weirdly works with the voice as well. Again, we've got lots of pain in the voice, but there's a slightly brighter feeling to it.
Cause parts of me should be tamed with parts of me in a stranger. Look, I appreciate how far I've come. And don't you think I don't appreciate all these albums? My point of view is sort of pixelated, the vision's faded. More in tune, I think it's just degraded. Weak and dangerous, but I'm just saying, I should be happy that we made it.
Okay, so there's like a violin line quite high. Yeah, up on, I think on the D, but it might be on the E flat. Let's hear it again.
Be happy that we made it.
Yeah, so it's on the D. So it's that same note that the vocal sample and the sitar are hitting, but it's now held. It's held, so it's giving a thicker element to the texture. The texture, mostly, other than the piano, is quite plinky plonky and just staying for brief moments. It's only the piano so far which has not been that, and now also this violin.
Alive and pray to the skies, how generous this fate that is mine. Now I got a couple names that they can label me by. They label me by an alias and grateful as I. Fuck it. I should have kept my flame in the pie. I didn't mean to win this battle. It's like Dave on Goliath. Now look at me. Don't you see me?
Okay, so we've got hi-hat getting louder now and a more clear pattern of open and closed hi-hat as well.
Win this battle, it's like Dave on Goliath. Now look at me. Don't you see me with this pain that I ire? It's just, it's not important. Maybe it's time you should cut your losses. You try.
I'm really worried that I haven't been noticing this main thing phasing in and out now. Dun, 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 right, we're 1 minute 25 in. Let's listen to that. No, okay, it isn't. It isn't. For some reason, it felt like it was getting closer and further away from the beat, but it's not. Okay, and so yeah, in this new section, then we've got full chords. They're closer than the previous drums have been, but they're still full of weight, full of acoustic potential. It's strong sound. And they are clearly played live. There's at least there's not much repetition there. It feels like a real, one of these actual drummers who likes to play drums how they like to play drums, being allowed to do that, which is always one of my favorite things.
Call it gorgeous, but what of us who are closest? Those whose love doesn't come with the conditions of self, and those who've known you forever through long distance and hell. Is this supposed to be trauma with batteries on the...
Yeah, so there's more subtlety to what's going on in the drums. Sometimes extra snare hits, extra fills and such like, which is great. Really adds dynamism and is lovely to hear. What was I also going to say? There's something building up as well, isn't there? I wasn't paying attention. What is it? Bass. Yeah. Okay, bass just dropped down an octave. Really low down. And we've got synths again. I'm not enjoying the synths really, but they are definitely joining all these songs together to some degree.
It's too late for us. think that everything you cultivate is dangerous. Do everything exaggerated, lacerated paper cuts. You probably think those palisades in matinee are great enough. You say the stuff, part of me is thinking you just made it up.
We've had a similar flow for the past few bars. This which is very on the beat, like really emphasizing every 4 syllables, but the way that it's phrased has been not constant quavers, but more like more varied.
You say the stuff, part of me is thinking you just made it up. Those lacy pumps will never fix the shame that you relayed on us. Razor bumps will always be in place and you can shave them off. It's rose tinted, you should take them off. You ever
some weird stuff happened in the piano there.
rose tinted, you should take them off.
Yeah. Okay, just all of a sudden. Just a very weird note to get in there. Probably a mistake. But it's, I don't know, maybe just to creep you out. But we get, yeah, that B natural in there, which makes this E flat chord suddenly like an augmented E flat chord. Just for a moment. And then it's gone again.
Now this ironic, but I'll hit you with a sobering thought. I wonder if you ever think about the homies you lost. Cause every
There's a new melody in there. Doing something like that, which is a nice note to end on with that E flat chord. The flat, the flat 5th, but it's not really a flat 5th, it's a sharp 4th, sharp 11th. Yeah, I would say the most poignant note.
bar is just a symptom of how phony you are. Mama's in the kitchen, listen to you bawling alone.
Yeah, and Backxwash's voice is not so high here, is it? It's around here kind of area. It's just intense, you know, it's not really shouting. It's just, yeah, just getting across all the emotion.
Cause our baby's written vicious things in all of the songs. Then you try to do the victim thing, throwing us off. Don't use me as ammunition, nigga. Grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck.
It was there again. So there must be one particular piano lick that has that B in instead of a B flat. It's a weird note. Okay, back to similar kind of thing that we had at the beginning, but we've got the violins in there as well, and the violins are making everything just a little bit more syrupy with their held reverby notes. Just walking down there, that's what those violins were doing. Yeah, still holding that E flat really most of the time. We do occasionally get a little bit of D in the bass, but yeah, most of the time it's E flat. And the drums just still there in the background. Okay, ending with 1 bum, E flat major 7 chord from the tinny piano. Yeah, I am in two minds about these. Now, the textures are sort of wider flung than the previous albums. There's definitely more ambition, and each of these songs has been quite different to the last. So it might just take some getting used to the flow between these tracks. But there are also some production decisions which I'm not so fond of. And it's just a shame because there's a lot of really clever stuff going into these. And then there's some things that just seem to be thrown on, like that final chord there. I don't think that was worth it. Might as well just not have it, just fade out with no chord there. I think it would be more meaningful, more powerful. There we are. Okay, we've got a short track next, and that might be where I leave it. depends. But let's see. Ninth gate. Okay. More major seventh chords. This is a defining feature of these songs. Maybe not the first one. How did the first one go? Yeah, no, we didn't really have major seventh chords on the first one. The last three tracks have. And this time, it's really a vamp on 2, C major 7, and G major 7, which are, nicely related together. The song that always comes to mind for me is Porcelain by Red Hot Chili Peppers, but there's also... Oh no, how does that go? Oh. I suppose that's not quite the same, is it? Maybe it is. Yeah. By Eric Satie. Yeah. Subtle legend, Eric Satie. Anyway, those are the chords we've got, but we've got a very washy synthy, well, not synthy, stringsy, violinsy texture with a lot of reverb. And we've got reversed samples, haven't we? That's what's going zip, zip, zip. Reversed sounds. And you can hear, because it sort of builds towards a individual moment. That's basically a percussive sound that has been gone backwards. So it has the percussive moment at the end instead of the beginning. And they're keeping us time, aren't they? Okay. So the piano there is giving us a very different sound to the other things. Okay, yeah, so the piano there giving us really hard, solid chords in comparison to our soft, swishy, swashy other stuff.
What are you doing? What did he say? What kind of work are you doing?
Streaming.
Can I see?
No, off you go, Ida.
Getting a bit angry.
No, I'm okay. Yeah, so they come down hard, and we've added in some electronic distortion sounds there as well, giving a really hard hit on that C chord. And that's now filling, and dissipating. Yeah, so that distortion sound is filling. I apologise for the extra sounds, by the way. We're finishing the cycle. Smashing in, right, with that sound. What am I trying to say? I lost the chain of thought. That sound is just smashing in and then just dissipating, right? It fills the harmonic spectrum and then it just disappears, and we're left with a much cleaner, clearer sound. There we go again. And it disappears again. Okay, very different thing now. There's real square wave. Simple enough melody, but kind of interesting. Goes over an octave. Yeah. And a completely different instrument to what we've had before, isn't it? Playing with texture in an interesting way. Yeah, everything just keeps coming in and disappearing. We were left with just the synth for a moment there. The whole space disappears when the violins aren't there. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Some kind of organ, I guess. Just going. It's a nice set of noises. They're all very pleasant together and fading out for quite a while. All right, well, let's have a look at Ninth Heaven then. Backxwash. That's very funny. We've not had any of those. I don't remember hearing any of those on previous tracks. Here it comes. Backxwash. I guess it must be a production credit for Backxwash. So this time we've got the C major 7, but then we don't have really a G chord after that. It's more of the B minor chord instead. And the melody is really lovely with that. It's da, 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 da. So we go from the major, the sharp 11 again, up to the C there, which is the minor second on that chord. Two of the most painful, most sort of heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching intervals, both juxtaposed. One on this chord and then the other on that chord. Beautiful stuff. And because it's in such a soft texture with you know, not so many sharp sounds, not so many bright aggressive sounds, it sounds really beautiful, really just playing on that poignant bittersweet territory that I think this album is yearning for and is achieving. Yeah. Very heavy drums though in comparison. Yeah, actually, it's not even really a B minor here, because we kind of don't think we have the third. We have that E in there, holding that sus4 chord, and maybe we have the 7th too. So it's going like that. So that second chord really doesn't feel resolved, but it does have that on it as well, which is still giving a lot of power. Okay, so Backxwash has come in here straight with a huge amount of power in sort of juxtaposition to most of the other things here. The drums, I guess, are thumping, but everything else seems pretty calm, pretty collected. And it really changes the feel of the whole thing. The drums have also stepped it up a bit. They're not playing so slowly. There's more divisions of the beat coming in. But yeah, it's really changed the groove entirely. I was ready for quite a soft one, but now this is one of the more aggressive. That's the beauty of it, if I'm truly honest. No need to sugarcoat with movie calls or symbiosis. Life is only fragile as your battle, so you can ask Adam why he chose the apple. For real, I see the beauty in the luminescence. It's where I should be, but I'm lucid in my cupid senses. In a single minute, I would. Yeah, the synths are also creeping in as well, so we're getting a bit of brightness in between the cracks as well. Don't have to worry about shit if I need the story to finish. The story you already did. Is it worse than not knowing your worth and your boss calling for work and your eyeballing the... Yeah, that chord sequence actually sounds a little bit different now. It sounds more like... So it sounds like it's going from that C major 7 to an E minor to D. might just be that the bass is B through all of that. So it works something like that. But yeah, it doesn't quite feel like a B minor 7 or a B7 sus4 or anything like that now.
Your site scrolling for anything, mind blowing, it hurts. Life roaming the earth, so hard to find a purpose, and I feel.
Yeah, so even that, we do get that. Even that feels more like a D on B, which is kind of odd. Rare that that happens that way, but I think it's because it comes slightly later. We get the E minor, and then we get the B minor 7 or D on B. Okay, we've now got two voices, two backwashes saying the same thing at the same time, slightly different pan position, and we've got some really fun tom kind of drums. It might not be toms, it might be something else. Drums are a wide world, so I don't know exactly what drum it is. Here it comes.
I feel the pressure right from under my sweater. The trumpet and the horns, the drummer coming, the drummer coming.
Dump, 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 bum, bum, dum, dum. It's a fun rhythm, very different to what came before. Yeah, but I would say more exciting. And the rest of the drums have disappeared as well, so it's really giving us a different feel, especially with the different flow as well.
This is it, I'm going out like a bitch. The trumpet and the horns, the drummer coming, the drummer coming. I told my lover, I don't need him to suffer. The trumpet and the horns, the drummer coming, the drummer coming.
Okay, so then we're getting a little bit of a mixture of both sets of drums as they're going, the drummer coming, which is fun. I might be cutting to the heart of the periphery there, I no doubt am, but yeah, it's cool.
So run for cover, I'm ready, you motherfuckers. The trumpet and the horns, the drummer coming, the drummer coming.
It's interesting because it makes that tom sound kind of seem like it's a fill, but it's covering the main part of the set of two bars rather than the ancillary part, rather than the second part. It's covering the first part. So that's not normally what happens with fills. Normally fills come in the second part, leading back into the first part where we get the normal groove. But instead, what's happening here is we get the normal groove with some fill on top of it in the second half, and we just get the fill in the first half. It's a really unusual thing to do, and I think it's very effective. Yeah, very powerful.
Ain't nothing sweeter than the past tense. Ain't nothing sweeter than the last step. Ain't nothing. I reminisce on the stupid life that I hold.
Okay, so yeah, this section is slightly different to what we've been having. But texturally, we're going more towards synths. We've still got the drums, and the drums still sound great, as they have done throughout the album. We've got a kind of bass synth going, something like that. Let's hear it again. And the piano and stuff. Yeah, so something like something like that. And then, yeah, moving away from the B, which is for our, well, E minor chord, to a D for the D major chord.
The angels called the waiting on delayed response. My way we thought could do it all, way with yours. On days it's hard, I'm used to all the same result is funny. But where is all the promise that he claimed it saw? She just makes me think that I just wanna.
Drums have dropped out here. Voice has got higher. And an F sharp, so yeah, getting up into that higher range. Building then, is it?
Just makes me think that I just wanna be loved. Is all that's
very glittery synths, very high. Kind of lost in the reverb to begin with there, but they're coming through now, and a hi-hat is continuing. Got a few gang vocals. I don't want to be judged there. Had emphasis from two different voices. Maybe we've had that early in the album. I haven't actually been paying that much attention, I suppose.
So I gotta speak up, cause Angel Gabrielle is set to solve my problems in one. It's bad decisions and religions in my honesty come. From activist to activism as I swallow the cup.
Yeah, so right now we can really hear that. And the way that works means that even when we get to, what is that, root chord, that E minor. It doesn't feel finished because we've got the B in there. Always leading back to the C, which feels like it's not our home. So there's this endless tension going on under the surface here.
Resignation up the cliff, think I'm ready for this. This is it. I've been waiting my whole life for this shit. I feel the pressure right from under.
Waiting my whole life for this shit. All the way up there, and then I feel the pressure coming back down again.
My sweater, the trumpet and the horns, the drummer coming, the drummer coming.
Okay, and you can hear the drummer coming to some degree in the background there. I guess this is our chorus. But it's, yeah, totally different texture to what it was before. We've got that glitter going on, and we've got the drums barely breaking through that.
And this is it, I'm going out like a bitch. The trumpet and the horns, the drummer coming, the drummer
Well, they are there. Bam, bam, bam. Much simpler than it was last time. Just bam, bam, bam. It's cool.
The trumpet and the horns, the drummer coming, the drummer coming. So purple color, lady, you motherfuckers.
Okay, more interest is getting through now. Okay, just drums and piano. That's nice. Not too eventful. I feel like they missed an opportunity there to really do some crazy stuff with the drums and the piano. But both of them were just kind of laying out a new groove, seemingly. Anyway. Drummer come in, we've come back in with that line. Okay. Okay, so this now feels like much more of a processed, deliberate, dance groove kind of thing with unreal drums, which is interesting. That for me, that's quite a letdown, but I'm still hyped by the exciting sounding drums. Listen. Yeah, it's just a little bit more generic, isn't it? And bass back in. This is fun now though. Vocal texture, we've got the drummer coming repeating, and then we've got Backxwash on top of that, and it feels more like a like a preach on, with, everything's going on underneath, and then we've got this voice coming through loud and clear, telling you what you're meant to be listening to. Okay, the synth's coming back in. Yeah, no rhymes. I feel. So a slight dip just before free, and free brings everything back in again, and the drums are still going crazy. Yeah, really holding it together, the drums.
Yeah.
There's a weird vocal sample as well. I don't know what it is really, but it's going moment, and it's gone. Okay, those nasty violins that were sounding really bad in this particular bit, and the piano carrying on. The piano still sounding okay, and more importantly, sounding more like instrumentally, right? More like they have a performer behind it, whereas the violins just sound trash. And it's a shame to end on that note, but let's just say there's a lot of exciting stuff in this album already. A lot of exciting stuff. Each track here has quite a lot to unpack, and no doubt it has a lot to unpack lyrically as well. And I don't go into that. I'm sure you can if you are so interested. But gosh, yeah, the music is really fun. Lots of things sort of that are really reliable in hip hop. that are subverted here to some degree. Having a constant groove, having something that repeats the same way each time, or almost the same way each time, within a section is subverted here. We have textures which come in and out in unexpected places, entirely different textures for the same groove. We have outros which sort of convey what's been going on in the ensemble, which is really fun. We have extended tracks. We have a beat switch in Wake Up, which is cool. We've got an intro track with Ninth Gate. Yeah, there's a lot going on here that's quite unusual, and I hope to have a deeper look at some point. Yeah, but I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I hope you've learned some more about music, or at least learned some music you weren't aware of. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope you have a lovely life, and see you soon, I guess.